So in this video, guys, my whole goal is to give you guys like very average business passive income ideas. Not, for example, hey guys, go ahead and start a YouTube channel, go become an influencer, because these are all things you kind of see on the internet, but it's not the things that every single average person with a 9-to-5 job wants to get into. Like, a business is just you providing a service to actually get some money in return. That's the whole idea. So I'm going to give you very basic business ideas, but just because they're basic doesn't mean they're not powerful. It doesn't mean you can't make a lot of money with them. And on top of that, doesn't mean you have to scale it up to make a bunch of money, because some people just want a little extra money, whether it's to invest, to have more fun, whatever you actually want to do with them. And overall, I always get asked this question, Tommy, how do I know this works? Because other people do it and other people make money. And anything that man can do, well, man can do. Now, overall, don't confuse me here. Some of these ideas you're going to be able to do better than other ones. So the goal is find the one that works best for you and you try to get that one done. That is the core idea. And to obviously do that, you need to try different things out and give things a real chance. Don't try all 10 at once. Don't try 2 at once. Just try 1 at once. Not over 1 day or 1 week, over maybe a few months, and see exactly how you can develop these skills. So do your research. Learn about the skill, try it out on a small scale, and see how it kind of starts working and progressing. But I'm not telling you, grab an idea, put all your money into it, and if it wins, you win big, and if you lose, well, at least you tried. That is stupid. Don't do it, okay? As always, guys, like this video on top. Also subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified. I've always been a big fan of starting things small and failing a few times, yes, but don't fail to the point where you get wiped out. Not a smart idea. Now, the very first thing is, this one's very basic. I personally would not do it, but it is, for example, renting a room in your apartment or your home, whether it's, for example, to a random stranger, or, for example, whether it's to Airbnb. And the answer is, we actually did this back in New York, where I actually lived there with my mom. We had 2 bedrooms and we had a big living room. It's New York, so we split the living room, we made it a bedroom, and then someone was staying there and paying us $150. Well, pay my mom $150 every single week, which is about like $600 extra every single month. Not bad. That is a viable idea. And if you do live in a place where you have a lot of tourists, you could always list your room or partial part of the apartment and put it on Airbnb and make some money. I would not do it because I like my privacy and I don't want that. But some people, when you're just getting started and you just have like a few roommates here and there, doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. And if you have the necessity, then it's not what you would do, it's what you need to do. Now, number 2 is selling blank books. I never heard about this, okay? And it makes sense, okay? But a blank book is a blank book. It has no actual context in there. It means like sketches, like sketchbooks, journals, and like all those little, and diaries. Like, these are books that come blank and you kind of sell them, and you can make a brand around them. You can go on AliExpress, you can talk to manufacturers, you can kind of make a very special diary, a very special notebook, a very special planner, and you kind of just make these things and put your brand on it and sell them out there. How do I get started in this? The answer is, you do research, you find products, you do manufacture, okay? When I say do manufacture, you find out who manufactures these products, you find out how much you can actually get them for, how much you can actually sell them for, and you do, for example, pre-orders to make sure that you actually have some actual interest before you start ordering 10,000 books and no one buys them from you. So blank books is a real business. Number 3 is purchase a billboard. This one's crazy because I always see billboards, but I never thought about actually owning a billboard. So obviously for this, you will need permits and you will need some money, but people actually do this stuff, okay? So if you can actually do the research and you can buy a billboard, and you can help someone advertise your business, that's passive, because what are you doing? Like putting it up and then leaving it there? It's money that you just kind of make, okay? That's pretty cool. Then number 4, you have, for example, rent your parking spot. Now, it's kind of crazy because if you live in New York, you can rent your parking spot. That probably means you have a nice house. Probably have some money, okay? But if you live in a place where you don't even have a parking spot, the point is, okay, if you have a parking spot available and you can rent it because in the area you live, there is enough interest in it, rent it out, because why not, okay? Why not? And then some people, what they might do is, for example, like, I haven't seen this personally, but I would definitely do this. You know, when I lived in New York, there was 2 parking spots in the home I stayed at, and he basically just had both of them for his disposal. But he could have had, for example, his parking spot and then rent the other one, or he could have rented out both and park his car somewhere, like being convenient. But that would have been money that comes in, no problem. That's big. Okay, so again, parking spots is just making passive income, because what are you doing exactly? Just parking cars. Okay. By the way, be careful. My grandpa once bought a parking lot, and the person that sold in the parking lot lied. He had all his taxi friends come in and stay like for free. And when my grandpa bought the parking spot, he's like, "You got to pay." They're like, "We stay here for free," and they were like, "What?" You know what I mean? So be careful with that. Now, number 5 is buy a rental property. I know this sounds like it costs a lot of money, and it does. It is a big one, and that's why it's number 5. It's not number 1. But buying rental property is appropriate. You know, you buy a property, you rent it out to a tenant, and you make some passive income, and that is pretty cool. But it's not passive in the sense of like you do nothing, because you do have to do property maintenance and make sure everything's fine. You have to do repairs and so on. So everything has its cost, so be aware of that. It's not a no-brainer investment, because if you overpay, you're going to take years and decades to actually get a return on your money. Okay, so be very careful. Do your research, read the books, and take the time. I've never been afraid of like pausing on something and waiting a while until I have the information to actually get started the correct way. But don't procrastinate too much, because that's also like another problem. Number 6 is rent your car. Turo, you have other apps now. Eventually, I think like Uber is going to probably allow you to rent your car if they haven't already. Okay, but that would probably be a pretty cool thing, right? So you have a car, you're not using that much, and some people actually buy extra cars to start this business. Now, be careful, because people get into a bunch of debt to buy cars and all this other stuff, and then demand slows down and have to pay those car payments, and then boom, before you know it, they're going broke. Be careful. I would just do it with my personal car. If I want to buy another car, pay cash for that car, but buy used cars, good cars or whatever. But it is a business where you constantly have to be kind of like upgrading cars in a sense, because you want to provide good quality cars for these people that is quality. People like to be in fancy cars or whatever, but it is a viable business. So look into it. Then number 7 is invest into an IRA. An IRA is an individual retirement account. And the idea is investing into retirement is an investment that the average person can do and they can make. For me personally, I invest into the S&P 500. That is an index fund that tracks the overall American market when you actually take into account. So it means I'm invested just into the American market. It's very simple, very low in fees. And a very simple rule is just invest 10 to 20% of your income after you're debt free and after you have a full-blown emergency account. That's my rule. Number 8, start a collections business. This one you probably never heard about, right? Because, you know, well, I hope you don't know this. I hope you never got what I've gotten these calls before. I remember I had, for example, a cable bill that I had canceled, but they put me in collections because something happened in the system, and I got a call. Someone telling me, "Hey, you owe this much money. We will ruin your credit score." And I was like, "Why? I paid that stuff off. I don't get it." And I had a whole like investigation. I was fine. I was cleared. But the idea is a collections company. These people buy debts for like dimes on a dollar. So if it's $1 worth of debt, they pay like a dime on it, right? Like 10 cents or 15 cents or 25 cents sometimes. And then they go ahead and they collect the full amount and they keep the difference. That is actually a business, a legitimate business, by the way. It's very legal, but it does involve you having to call out of people to try to pay things off that they did not have the intention to pay it off either way. So it is a complicated business, but it is also a business you could start. Number 9 is a vending machine business, whether it's, for example, ATMs, whether it's a candy machine, whether it's a video machine thing, okay, or a soda pop machine. The answer is you could buy these machines on Craigslist. You can buy these machines on the internet, and they don't have to be new. They don't have to be fancy. They don't have to accept like cardless pay. Although like the more payment options, the better it is in a sense, but you're not going to overspend on something that's actually not needed that much, okay? You can put these in barbershops, you can put these in delis and grocery stores, if you do get permission, obviously, because you got to talk to the people that actually own those places. It allows you to actually make some passive income, but in a sense, you have to go back and reload these ATMs, reload these candy machines places, and you do need capital, initial capital, to actually buy these things, so consider that also. Now, number 10, the last one here is make an online course. Now, I know you're probably thinking, Tommy, this is for normal people. Why are you asking me again about social media? The answer is an online course is not just for influencers like me or like everyone else on YouTube. It also just means like if you're good at, for example, cooking something like cooking like sourdough bread, you can make a course about how to cook sourdough bread. If you're good at, for example, like playing the piano, you can make a course about how to play the piano. These are all viable ways to actually make some income. And once you make this and you start selling it, it is passive because it's just selling the same product over and over again without having to recreate it. I think that's awesome. So that is a very good, viable course. As far as, for example, Tommy, where do I list the course? How do I create the course? The answer is all this information is on YouTube. So if you want me to specify on one of these ideas or a few of these ideas and kind of go deep into them, let me know and I'll kind of make individual videos about them and get that done for you guys. But as always, that is it for this video. Thanks for watching. Comment down below business. I know you made it all the way to the end of the video. And by the way, people think I might be sleepy, but my eyes are just like this, okay? I don't know why. They're just always like low like this, okay? But it's just my eyes, okay? But thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified. Up here is another banger. Here's my face. Subscribe, and as always, long-term team officially out.